The D&D universe is well known for its multiclassing system. The Baldur's Gate 3, as befitting a role-playing game within the D&D franchise, allows characters to smoothly combine various classes. The resulting hybrid can be both stronger compared to a pure class and more engaging in terms of gameplay. However, it's important to remember that D&D primarily caters to those willing to delve into all mechanics and nuances, thus there's a significant risk of ending up with an underpowered character. To counterbalance this aspect, in this video, I've compiled the strongest and most popular builds from the Baldur's Gate 3 players community. I'm sure this will be incredibly useful to many. If you want to play as a sort of Dark Knight and transform your Paladin into a killing machine, it's as simple as taking a couple of levels in Paladin and focusing the rest of the progressions on the Warlock class. The Eldritch Knight and Warlock spells will leave your opponent with no chance. The primary attribute for leveling up should be Strength and Charisma, with Dexterity and Constitution as the secondary attributes. As a race for this hybrid, you can choose a half-elf, half-orc, tieflings or dragonborn. If you select the Pact of the Blade as your bonus when creating your character, your Warlock will gain an extra attack even when spell casting. You can bond magical weapons to function as pact weapons. The main feature of this multiclass lies in the fact that Warlocks regain spells after a short rest, which means frequent recovery of the Divine Smite ability. The Paladin's main power comes at the 5th level when you can choose a pact, as well as the 7th level when you gain an additional attack through the pact weapon. A Warlock with the Pact of the Blade can use Charisma instead of Strength for attacks with their pact weapon, giving you reason to drop attributes at the 5th level when you acquire the Blade Pact by focusing on Constitution and Charisma over Strength and Dexterity. If you always wanted to be a battle mage clad in armor, casting deadly spells on your enemies, then this multiclass is perfect for you. It's a versatile can that can deal with foes at range and hold its own in close combat. The primary attribute for leveling up will be Intelligence and Constitution will be secondary. For race, it's recommended to go with High Elf, Githyanki or Gnome, Asmodeus or Mephistopheles Tiefling. Similarly to the Paladin, when creating a battle mage, you should take 2 levels into the fighter class and then invest heavily in the wizard class. Many classes, including spellcasters, can benefit from a couple of levels in the fighter class, as it unlocks equipment options not available to many other classes. As the 2nd level of fighter, you gain the Action Surge ability, granting an additional main action on a short rest. A fighter 1 wizard 11 combination overall will be tougher to defeat than just a plain wizard, since it offers more versatility when cornered by enemies. If you choose to raise your fighter level to 2, you'll lose access to 6th level spells in exchange for Action Surge throughout the game. Essentially trading more magical abilities for survivability and versatility, not a bad idea at all. If you've always wanted to be a classic shadowy assassin, skillfully dispatching enemies with dual weapons, then the following option is just what you need. Key abilities of this build are Dread Ambusher, Assassinate and Action Surge. The primary attributes will obviously be Dexterity, with Constitution and Wisdom as the secondary attributes. However, if you plan on being a frontliner in your group, it's also worth considering a decent Charisma level. Recommended races for this starting build include Half-Elf, Wood Elf, Drow or Halfling. A very strong choice for a classic DPS build, specializing in stealthy attacks from the shadow. The Gloomstalker has an incredibly potent ability called Dread Ambusher, which grants a +3 bonus to initiative, increasing your chance to attack in first. The Rogue and Assassin subclass gains the Assassinate ability, which provides unique bonuses against enemies that haven't taken a turn in combat yet, as well as a damage bonus to attacks from stealth. Combining these two abilities in the first and usually most effective round of combat, you'll gain an advantage: one free attack dealing 2d damage at the start of combat, and a second bonus action attack with an additional 1d8 damage in the first round, along with advantage on attacks roll and automatic critical hits. Of course, playing as this kind of assassin requires careful positioning to avoid being too far from your party members. However, a powerful opener can help you reduce enemies' numbers at the start, making the battle easier. If your idol has always been Emperor Palpatine, then this multiclass will allow you to become a true master of lightning. Key abilities include Lightning Bolt, Breath of the Storm, Channel Divinity, Destructive Wrath, as well as weapon and armor proficiency of a cleric. The primary attributes will be Charisma, with Constitution as secondary. For a starting race, considering Half-Elf, Drow, Tiefling or Dragonborn. Compared to a regular Storm Sorcerer, this hybrid offers increased survivability and the Cleric's Shield. The synergy between the Tempest Cleric and Storm Sorcerer is truly devastating. Tempest Clerics gain Breath of the Storm, allowing them to deal retaliatory lightning damage to attackers in close combat. Channel Divinity and Destructive Breath lets you maximize your damage from a third level spells like Lightning Bolt, although Channel Divinity can only be used once per short rest. It turns a spell similar to a third level Lightning Bolt into a super powered attack. In combat you'll rely more on sorcerer spells than cleric spells, but having 14 Wisdom will let you make the most of the Breath of the Storm. Lastly, we have the most resilient yet one of the most powerful builds that annihilates both living and not so living foes with critical hits from two-handed weapons. Key abilities include Action Surge, Improved Critical, Unarmed Defense and Great Weapon Master. The main attributes are Constitution, Strength and Dexterity, while the rest can be disregarded, much like the size of the axe your character wields. For progression you want to take Barbarian up to the 5th level, then 3 level of Fighter, and finally continue leveling up Barbarian. In terms of race options, you're limited to half Orc or Githyanki. This build is straightforward, but incredibly effective. You sacrifice high-level Barbarian abilities like Relentless Rage and the level 10 subclass features for Action Surge and Improved Critical from the Champion Fighter subclass, making critical hits easier to land. This synergy works well with the increased critical damage of a level 9 Barbarian. Quickly reach Barbarian level 5 for the extra attack, then take 3 fighter levels to add Action Surge and Improved Critical. The choice of Barbarian subclass is less critical for the build. Berserker seems optimal for damage, but the Wild Magic Barbarians are one of the most intriguing subclasses in Baldur's Gate 3. And don't forget the Great Weapon Master feat. Of course, this is far from an exhaustive list of the best build for Baldur's Gate 3. The game allows you to craft a multi-class character to suit any taste, so I encourage you not to be afraid to experiment and enjoy the game. By the way, feel free to share your own variations in the comments below this video. It'll be interesting to read. As always, don't forget to like or dislike this video, share it with friends, hit the notification bell to stay updated on new content, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves.